All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the June 24th, 2024 meeting of the Orlando City Council. We're going to begin today's proceedings with the invocation and the pledge today, led by Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you. Will you please bow your heads with me? Father, thank you for every person here today and those who have joined us throughout the city. For each mind and heart that fills the presence of this room, we thank you. Only you truly know what are setting out to accomplish today. We have an idea, a vision, hints, and daily instructions. We have talents and abilities and time to work. However, only you can see the perfect detail at the end of every beginning. Every project, every season, every life, nothing is ever in vain. For these events and missteps are used for your good. Your righteousness transcends all of our efforts, understanding. Strengthen our confidence in who you have made us to be. Set us free from comparison in order to work together efficiently. Bless this meeting today of the Orlando City Council, all those that are present, as well as the lives of those we touch and those who we will encounter afterwards. Ready us to make every moment count. It's in your name that we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll and make a determination of a quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray?
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Here.
Commissioner Stewart?
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan?
Here.
Commissioner Rose?
Here.
Commissioner Burns?
Here.
Mayor Dyer?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum with all members present.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. All right, we have quite a crowd today. I'm happy to see that. I assume that is because we have a new interim district commissioner for District 5, Shan Rose, who started this morning and was sworn in this morning at 10 o'clock. So we would like to welcome her to her first official city council meeting. You want to give her a hand? Okay, let's do awards and recognitions, but we are going to start out. We are very fortunate to have a very special guest with us today, and that's Congressman Darren Soto, whose district includes much of the southeastern portion of Orlando, a lot of Commissioner Ortiz and Commissioner Gray's districts, and he is a super supportive advocate for us in D.C. I'd say once a year he comes back with a big check for us. So we're all happy to see him anytime he shows up in Orlando City Council. So Congressman, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor, so much, and Commissioners. Congratulations, Commissioner Rose, on your election. This year, we're helping work on some flooding issues that we saw after Hurricane Ian. In East Orlando, many of you may remember, we had some parking lots that were fully underwater. Our first responders did an amazing job of rescuing everyone. Commissioner Ortiz and I were in those flooded areas, although you were a little higher above water than I was, my friend. And we know that we need to continue with the advent of climate change to work on improving water infrastructure across the district, and that's where I made a promise to work with you all on a East Orlando flood control project. We're talking about areas like Ventura and Englewood and different middle schools and elementary schools in that area, like Roberto Clemente Elementary School, Middle School, and so we're excited to be able to deliver a budget product today of $959,000 to help with the good work the city's doing in East Orlando for a lot of these seniors and young people. Over the years, we've been thrilled to help work with a lot of them. First couple years, Commissioner Gray's district. We appreciate the work you're doing in Lake Nona with the Lake Nona Government Center that I know we're working on as we speak, and $1 million for Poitras Park as well. Over the last term, we passed some of the largest legislation we've seen in many years in the last Congress, whether it was the American Rescue Plan and I was so thrilled, Mayor, that under your leadership and the City Commission, that you used over $50 million of ARP to help with the affordable housing and to combat homelessness. I know an issue that's near and dear to Commissioner Burns among all of us. And I applaud you for doing that. In addition, through the infrastructure law, we're finally seeing that next round of I-4 finally be built. Under the mayor's leadership, we saw the I-4 Ultimate project. Now we're going to the Beyond I-4 Ultimate project, from the 528 all the way down into Polk County through Osceola County, a $3.5 billion project, part funded by the American Rescue Plan, part funded by the infrastructure law, and part by state dollars. We all have been through that traffic in I-4, and so we're definitely going to continue to work together. It's going to take 10 years to build, 10 lanes. We got a lot of work to do. Over 200 million's come to the airport so far, which is one of the crown jewels of the city, with 8 new gates, pedestrian bridge, runway improvements, and even a new awning. 61 million for a new awning. But who would want to sit in the rain or in the hot sunshine as you're waiting for your family to pick you up? The next big thing, we got some of the design money already, 16 million for a Christie grant for a Sunrail Brightline expansion, which would connect to the airport, to the theme parks, and go all the way out to, with Brightline, all the way out to Tampa. I know this city commission, including the mayor, is leading the charge on this effort, and we appreciate it. We've also seen nearly $20 million in federal housing grants for folks who are home insecure because of flooding from hurricanes, and to rehouse veterans, as well as continuing to work on anti-terrorism funding, about $4 million each year for the region, of which Orlando Police gets most of that anti-terrorism funding. A big shout out to former Congresswoman Val Demings, who helped make sure tourists count in that calculation so that we make the cut every year for that. The last thing that we got this year was $900,000 for UCF Medical School for Lake Nona for the pathogen surveillance laboratory. They just had a veto of one of their other projects on the state level, so we really need to continue to support UCF Medical School wherever we can. But what's next? A $1.5 million park improvement for East Orlando in the Commander Drive area. Commissioner Ortiz, thank you for submitting that great idea. And then the $6 billion Brightline Sunrail expansion that, because only 4 communities across the nation really have come together in a collaborative fashion, and I know, Mayor, you talk about that all the time. That collaboration is our partnerships are our biggest drive. But along with the Orlando-Tampa route, you have a Portland-Seattle route, a LA-Las Vegas route. Okay, right. and then Acela in the Northeast. So we really are in a great position. One of only 4 major projects that is going to compete for this federal rail money in a big way. And then the last thing we're working on is a new TRACON for the Orlando International Airport. Their tower is tip-top, and they're getting a bunch of new funding through the federal government for the airport, Terminal C, but the TRACON is very antiquated. And we've just had FAA, now that we've passed an FAA reauthorization, come in to look at a new site, and this is critical for public safety and to make sure our air traffic controllers have the very best in equipment to keep tourism our top industry around here moving forward. With that, just thank you all for your continued partnership, and looking forward to bringing home some more money in the future, bringing our federal tax dollars back to Orlando. Thank you.
Congressman, you're doing a great job. We always appreciate when you come through. You didn't take enough credit, but our airport has received more money from the bipartisan infrastructure bill than any airport in the entire country. So thank you for that.
About $300 million and rising. Thank you.
Let's stand up here. Patty.
Mayor, is that check coming to my district?
Yeah. You're matching it. Where are you going?
Right behind you.
Yeah, no, here, go.
No, no,
Go ahead.
behind you.
No, no, really.
That's it.
All right.
That's the reason.
let's give the congressman a big standing ovation so he can walk out for that. Okay, now we're going to do one of the coolest things that we do all year long. We have, I think, the best city staff in the entire country. I didn't say just the state of Florida. I think the entire country. And the reason that these commissioners keep getting reelected all the time is the great work that the city employees do to make us all look good. Whether it is picking up recycling and garbage, or keeping our streets safe, or making sure that we have the best IT in the country. Our employees do it all and do it with little fanfare, but do it in a very great fashion. So we like to recognize our staff for the extraordinary commitment that they make. And we have McNamara Employee of the Year awards that we give out every year, and it's always a great compliment or accomplishment to be picked for that, because you're nominated by your peers for that award. So I'm going to call on HR Director Ana Palenzuela to tell us more about the award, its history, and to help recognize our honorees. Anna?
Thank you, Mayor Dyer. Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners, and invited guests. It is my pleasure to come before you to announce, I need to do this, the 2023 McNamara Employee of the Year Award winners. The purpose of the city's employee recognition program is to motivate, recognize, and retain employees. The most prestigious award given by this program is the McNamara Employee of the Year Award. Only the best of the best are nominated for this award. 18 nominations were received this year, and 3 were selected. And now, the announcement you've been waiting for. The McNamara Employee of the Year recipients are Emily Thompson, Project Development Coordinator. Brett Thomas, Graphic Supervisor. And Mark Sees, Wetland Manager. The director for each of these outstanding employees will introduce and share their employees' accomplishments. The first presenter is Housing and Community Development Director Orrin Henry, followed by Communications and Neighborhood Relations Director April Michaels, and by Water Reclamation Division Manager Paul Duell. Orrin? We'll dance.
Oh, there's the mayor. Good afternoon, Mayor Dyer and council and all the guests. It's certainly my pleasure to be here today to present. You okay? Emily Thompson, who is the Project Development Coordinator for Housing Community Development. On her desk, Emily has a plaque that says, Little Miss Sunshine, because of her positive demeanor, but in our department, she's often referred to as the greatest and fastest return on investment. For someone who spends so much time and effort highlighting the work of her colleagues and the housing department, we believe that she is very worthy of this prestigious award. Emily joined the housing department less than 3 years ago in 2021 during the COVID pandemic. She immediately learned all of the details of the Emergency Rental Assistance Program and other federal and state COVID assistance programs. These programs brought more than $100 million of financial resources into the community, and learning how the application protocols needed to be written and disseminated. You'd never believe I wrote this either. Was very challenging for the entire department. Each assistance program had different guidelines, rules, and reporting periods that needed to be followed to stay in compliance. Emily was a quick study with all of the programs, and the department was successful in alerting the community to the financial assistance. And because of her work, the city was able to disperse all of its funds. Working in the city for 22 years is a tremendous benefit for us. She works collaboratively with the members of our department and with key city departments and staff. Her exceptional work allows our department to spread the word succinctly and rapidly about our ever-changing programs and highlights the work that the housing staff does. When assigned a task, Emily goes far beyond what is expected. Her work ranges from providing information daily to the public, the media, assisting on department studies and plans, as well as creating nominations for national housing awards. Her attention to detail and dedication to her work, often after regular work hours and on weekends, is exceptional. The housing department receives calls, emails, and even visits to the office daily from desperate residents, including those who are homeless, looking for places to live, and agencies to assist in their moments of crisis. When dealing with these individuals, empathy is often one of the most important aspects of our jobs. Emily crafted standard responses for the most asked questions our constituents have and compiled a list of service providers who can assist people. She ensures her responses are written in a personalized manner so that people know someone is listening to their concerns. Her caring words come naturally and reflect the person she is and represents a positive image of the city of Orlando. She also has made certain that these and other documents are in Spanish and Creole so that all of our constituents' needs are met equally and with care. In short, Emily Thompson exemplifies how a public employee can work well with others, routinely exceed expectations either by taking initiative or being creative while offering the type of customer focus the City of Orlando is proud to provide. And we're very proud Emily is a 2023 McNamara Employee of the Year Award recipient.
All right.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners, and colleagues. I'm happy to be with you today to honor Brett Thomas as the 2023 McNamara Employee of the Year. So much of what defines an Employee of the Year is someone who goes above and beyond. And anyone who knows Brett and has the privilege of working with him in some way knows that he takes above and beyond to a whole new level. Filming a tree lighting promo Brett's sewing elf costumes. Hosting a golf tournament, Brett's constructing a life-size slingshot. Need to teach the community about food waste? Brett's rotting a pumpkin and making a ghost out of a greasy pizza box. Want to encourage residents to stop over-fertilizing their lawns? Brett becomes Gus the Grass Man for a PSA campaign. So much of that speaks to Brett's creativity, his willingness to pitch in and do whatever it takes to push the boundaries to communicate whatever message we need to deliver. But where I want to start today involves Brett's commitment to service and teamwork. Over the last year, Brett has volunteered for numerous projects and activities. For example, in 2023, Brett served on the Juneteenth committee. He attended planning sessions, led on design elements, and assisted with day of event production. On event day, a severe storm moved in, leading to an early cancellation of the event. Brett was one of the first to spring into action to help vendors, working quickly to ensure they were okay, directing them to shelter, and even offering one vendor his rain jacket as she tried desperately to get her materials out of the torrential rain. Brett was the first volunteer to arrive and the last to leave, which is typically the case. Last year, Brett also volunteered for a shift for the Mayor's MLK Commission's 1 million meals day of service. However, his 4-hour shift turned into a full day when he arrived and was told that they needed help on the afternoon shift to complete the project. Not only did Brett spend the entire day serving as a volunteer, but he also offered to move into a lead role in the afternoon. Brett also used the opportunity to collect social media content for the city's channels to help communicate the important work of the commission and its volunteers. And while Brett has donated his spare time to many projects throughout 2023, his biggest accomplishment has been the update and expansion of the Orlando Information Loop, the City of Orlando's network of 64, soon to be 141, television displays used to digitally communicate with our residents and employees. Throughout this project, Brett served as a subject matter expert, working closely with IT, facilities, and procurement, including testing to ensure the software and TV locations would meet the city's technology and communication needs. Brett managed and continues to manage every aspect of the loop's connectivity, functionality, and content. Through this innovative approach and Brett's hard work, we are now able to deliver message immediately through customized channels specific to our audience and their location, while reducing costs and streamlining our communications process. The success of that project is due in large part to Brett's leadership. Brett is quiet, creative, witty, and thoughtful. He prioritizes growth and learning, encouraging his team and colleagues to stretch beyond their comfort zone. He helps to bring projects to fruition by providing support and inspiration. Brett is often the calm in the storm, saying the right thing and even creating the right thing when you don't know you need it. This was the case when Brett had the forethought and initiative to edit the city's fountain icon from city blue to rainbow, providing a unifying symbol for our community support for the LGBTQ+ community early in the response to the Pulse tragedy. He has a true servant's heart. We're not going to cry. When I practiced this speech for my family, my oldest son remarked, "Brett is an awesome guy." To which I said, indeed he is. Brett, thanks for your service to our team, our organization, and the community at large. We're also proud of you and grateful for all you do in service to our city each day. Congratulations.
You want to stand where the group stands?
I didn't on the last one, so let's be consistent. And he's an awesome girl dad, I can tell that, right on.
I know, I can
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners, guests. I'm here to introduce Mark Cease for 2023 McNamara Employee of the Year Award. The committee made an outstanding choice when they chose Mark. Not sure if Mark is the only one, but he's got to be one of the few. This is his actual second McNamara Employee of the Award. He also won in 2002. Mark's been with the Water Reclamation Division 26 years. For those that don't know Mark, Mark is a multi-talented employee. He's a nationally recognized expert in his field and has made many presentations nationwide. He's also frequently consulted for other wetland systems that are having problems. Mark and his team of 5 in their spare time manage and maintain the 1,800-acre wetlands treatment system that is visited by over 100,000 guests every year from multiple countries around the world. And Mark also, several years ago, took over our demucking projects, which nobody probably knows what they are, but they're not fun. So Mark took over the demucking projects from outside contractors that we've been paying handsomely for years to do these projects. And with Mark's management and construction skills, they started doing these projects in-house. And Mark has saved the city of Orlando tens of millions of dollars by being able to do these projects with himself and his 5-person crew. Mark was also instrumental in creating our biannual Wetlands Festival. If anybody's not been out there, look it up. It'll be this February. This coming February is our year. It's a great time. It's a great learning event. So if you haven't heard of it, look it up, show up. You'll have a good time. Mark also created the L&R Oiler Overlook, which you can actually see the whole wetlands system from that overlook. And recently, Mark was instrumental in bringing the scenic boardwalk, that now allows visitors and photographers an opportunity to traverse through the wetlands and get much closer to the wildlife that the wetlands system attracts. And he's also instrumental in our soon-to-open Wetlands Education Center. So keep a lookout for that. Hopefully by the time we have the Wetlands Festival, that'll be open. Like I said, I could go on and on about Mark's accomplishments, but I'm not going to embarrass him in front of his family today. So, but Mark, really thank you for everything that you do and you've been doing. It's a pleasure to have you as part of our team, sir.
Okay, we did have a 4th winner, but it's an employee that does undercover work, so we can't disclose his identity, but knows someone in OPD does stellar work and was recommended by the employees at OPD as well. So let's give him a hand. Okay, we are also celebrating an employee today who has served the city of Orlando for more than 3 decades. And I'd like to call on Alan Johnson and Charlie Leone from Venues to share more on Ollie Reeves, who is retiring after 32 and a half years with the city of Orlando.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, audience members, both here in person and virtually. Usually when you hear about somebody retiring, you have a lot of joy for them. And in this case, we had a lot of joy, but we also had a lot of sadness for us because we're going to miss him. And I have had the pleasure of working with him for 20 years. When I first started 20 years ago after the hurricanes of 2004, we had some significant damage to the TD Waterhouse, as it was called back then. And we were doing a tour. I was new, so I was learning the procedures for the city, and we had a tour with the people who were going to do the work, and they were bidding to do the work. It was insurance people as well as FEMA and our staff and our team. And I was walking, and these contractors, my dad was a contractor, so I'm not saying anything bad about contractors. However, they were throwing out numbers like 150,000, 120,000, 125, and I just heard somebody say, well, that's bull. And I'm like, looking around like, who's that? And it was Ollie Reeves. And he said, Alan, if you give me $15,000 and 2 to 3 workers, I'll do that job. And he did. And I never doubted him since then. I think most of the shows that travel through the Kia Center and Camping World Stadium are going to miss his face because he's one of the first faces they see when they move in. He's helping them set up and get these shows started from the beginning. That's what he and his team do, and we're going to miss that. But he started with us in 1991, and he also worked in the other venues besides Kia and Camping World: Lou Gardens, Manila Museum, the old Amway that I mentioned, Bob Carr Performing Arts Center, Expo Center, and the Ben White Raceway, as it was known back then. When it comes to the upkeep of our beloved community venues, we couldn't ask for a better steward than Ollie. Between his incredible initiative and his high degree of proficiency, Ollie is our MacGyver. He is the right solution to every problem and always at the ready. He possesses a can-do spirit and an unselfish approach to his work. I'm actually surprised he showed up here because he doesn't like the spotlight very much, but we appreciate that he did take time to do that. I could go on and on about Ollie, but then I'd be stopping him from beginning his retirement, so I don't want to do that. But Ollie Reeves, thank you very much.
Well, Ollie, I need to read a proclamation for you before you retire. So, Ollie Reeves Retirement Proclamation. Whereas thanks to the dedication and professionalism of its employees, the City of Orlando provides critical services, programs, and amenities that residents, businesses, and visitors rely on every day. And whereas the strength and efficiency of our municipal government comes from City of Orlando employees, their passion for public service is critical to our collective efforts to ensure that the City Beautiful remains a great place to live, work, and visit. And whereas Ollie Reeves has worked for the City of Orlando for 32 years, and during that time he's been extremely knowledgeable, respectful, and reliable. And whereas Venues Facility Manager, Ollie's been instrumental in the day-to-day operations and maintenance of our city-owned venues, including Kia Center, Bob Carr, Lou Gardens, Manila Museum, and Camping World Stadium. And whereas throughout his tenure with the city, Ollie has been a true team player and a consummate professional, his patience, perseverance, and outstanding temperament have benefited Orlando venues beyond measure. And whereas Ollie is retiring after 32 years of service, but the City of Orlando will always be grateful for his countless contributions to our community. Now, therefore, I, Buddy Dyer, Mayor of the City of Orlando, and the entire Orlando City Council do hereby thank Ollie Reeves for serving our city and extend best wishes for good health and much happiness in the future. Let's go.
Stand with Charlie.
Okay, that brings us to the mayor's update. I do have just a couple of things. Since our last meeting, the city hosted the 8th Annual Pulse Remembrance Events, first year that we have been responsible for hosting them ourselves, which included the Community Rainbow Run and several events for the victims, families, and survivors in the broader community on June the 12th. In the city's first year of hosting the Community Rainbow Run, we had over 2,000 participants, more than 30 vendors and sponsors, and raised $55,000 toward the permanent memorial. And most importantly, the Rainbow Run and the other events gave our community opportunity to come together and honor the 49 and those others who were impacted by the Pulse tragedy and display our diversity, strength, and why we're still Orlando United. I'd like to acknowledge our city staff who've worked so hard on those events. There's a lot of emotion in taking those over, and I know there's a lot of stress on everybody, so let's give them a big hand for. Okay, we've also announced a process to create the Pulse Memorial Advisory Committee that'll guide our work in creating a memorial and get a conceptual design done for the memorial by the end of the year. We have received 150 applications representing a diverse mix of families, survivors, community leaders, and those with technical expertise like architects and mental health professionals, clergy, and artists. We have a group of consultants who will be reviewing the applications and making some recommendations on who should participate in a committee of approximately 10 to 15 members, and we anticipate announcing the committee in early July and then beginning their meetings in mid-July. Committee meetings will be available to the public to attend virtually and in person, and in English and in Spanish. To stay up to date, visit pulseorlando.org. Our next commission meeting is not until mid-July, so I want to share that our 47th annual fireworks at the fountain will take place on Thursday, July 4th at Lake Eola Park from 4 to 10. A lot of great entertainment, family-friendly activities, and the fireworks show will start at 9:10. And since we will not have a meeting until later in July, Commissioner Sheehan will be celebrating her 40th birthday on July 6th. And we like to honor and congratulate our birthday people. So it's our tradition. Commissioner Ortiz, could you lead us off?
Sure, it'll be my pleasure.
All right, Commissioner Gray.
Let's go, let's go.
Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sheehan. Happy birthday to you.
That never gets old. That never gets old. It's perfect.
Y'all are getting worse, I'm just saying.
Okay, and we did have a really large crowd, but we still have a large audience. And I am guessing that is because we are funding 18 mayors matching grant projects today. The grants help support local schools and neighborhood associations, not-for-profits that enhance our community's quality of life and opportunities for our youth. We have representatives from many of those organizations today, and some who are watching from home on Orange TV or streaming live. Would any of the representatives that are here, and I know they were because I did a picture with most of them earlier today, so would you stand and let us thank you for the work that you do? And also want to thank the Mayor's Matching Grant Review Committee from the Office of Community Affairs staff for the work that they did in selecting them. And you guys should give those guys some applause. Okay, and last thing on the agenda, B10 and F1, we're approving construction of 8 single-family homes in the Paramore neighborhood, and also moving forward a proposal to develop at least 84 1- and 2-bedroom affordable units for seniors on Orange Center Boulevard and Washington Shores. So we continue to make sure that we have a housing inventory for residents at all income levels. Okay, with that, we're going to move to the consent agenda. Consent agenda is a number of items that are acted upon through a single vote of council. We give each of our council members an opportunity to comment on the consent agenda and update you on important happenings from their districts. We rotate the order that we do that, and Commissioner Stewart is first up today. Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me say a special thanks to 4 great employees that we had a chance to recognize, Ollie and Emily, Mark, and Brett. I think it's an indication the mayor is correct. We look really good because we have some great staff that support us and support our citizens, and I'm so thrilled for that. So thank you all from me. A couple things come up in the neighborhood. Audubon Park Community Market continues, starts every Monday night, so it's from 5 to 8 tonight. Coming up is the Dog Days of Summer in College Park. That's come up this weekend. It's a chance to have a community party out in College Park, so that's going to be from 11 to 2. If you don't get a chance to come down to Lake Eola and be there with the 250,000 people that will be enjoying that, you also can see some fireworks on July 3rd over in Baldwin Park over the lake. So if you get a chance, please come over there. That'll be great. And fireworks, I think, are at 9:15-ish. But the party starts at 6. And then one thing I want to mention is, as I've shared with several times, Dubstred is celebrating our 100th birthday. Dubstred Golf Course. We're having a special commemorative golf tournament to come up on August 17th. So if you're interested in playing, please get a chance to go to historicdubstred.com and get involved in that. Next month, I'll introduce the information that we're going to have have a little kind of gala over there to celebrate in September. And so we're really excited about what's going on in the work over in Dubstred. But it's been 100 years, and we want to celebrate that 100 years. Onto the agenda, let me just mention a couple of things here. I want to say I'm honored to support B6. It's the work on Lake Fairview. We're awarding that contract today. Also on C9, the Gnarly Group. Where are they here? Okay, why are you behind somebody? Congratulations. We'll recommend and approve a facade grant for you of $20,000. I'm excited about that. Thank you. Bishop Wiggins is here. Thank you for your work, and I'm honored to support you on your item today on F1. And then we also have a project coming up that we appreciate Public Works working on it. We're doing some stormwater mitigation over in Audubon Park. Got a grant to accomplish that. And so we'll be relining those pipes for, they'll help us for the next generation. So those are 4 things I'd like to mention from the agenda. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sheehan.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer, and thank you all for the birthday wishes. What you lack in talent, you made up for in spirit, so I really appreciate that very much. I want to welcome my new colleague, Commissioner Rose, Girl Power, and we're working together on lots of cool stuff, so I look forward to working with you. On the agenda today, Mayor's Neighborhood Matching Grant, glad to see the Bel Air Wall, Curry Ford West Tree Fest, Stephanie's here, and also Dueling Dragons, which we all support, that do great work in the community, as well as everyone else. Thank you for all the work that you do to make our community a better place. On item A5, we have a memorandum of agreement for climate for pollution reduction grant for deploying large-scale solar. And as you all know, solar energy is very near and dear to my heart. And I have rooftop solar, participated in the city solar co-op. I'm a little distressed that the Orlando Utilities Commission, however, is not supportive of rooftop solar, and we had to go in force to try to fight for rooftop solar. It was said that that rooftop solar residents are disproportionately impacting the poor. I don't think that's true at all. Climate change disproportionately impacts the needy and the poor. And I want to thank Mayor Dyer for saying that we need to support net metering for people who put rooftop solar on their roofs. We do not need to discourage renewable and safe and clean energy. And you know what? We need to put rooftop solar on our affordable and low-income residents' homes so they can have affordable bills as well. So rather than punish the people who are doing the right thing by the environment, I think we should be looking to expand rooftop solar. And you know what? Well, there was a real change in the telephone industry years ago. We all used to have a landline. We all used to pay for long distance. And cell phones came along, and that changed. And that's what's happening with the solar industry now. People are generating their own power, and we should be able to make clean energy a reality in this community and in this world to help fight climate change. So I'm hoping that OUC in the next few weeks will change the way that they're evaluating what they're doing, because it's very detrimental to our world, to our city, and I want to make sure that we encourage rooftop solar and clean energy. There's a reason why we don't have clean energy. There's always someone who wants to fight it. We need to fight for clean energy because it's the right thing to do for the next generation. Also, on the agenda, we have the McCoy Federal Credit Union. They fund the Historic Preservation Board calendar every year. I want to shout out to them because it's a wonderful thing. People love when the calendars come out every year. And that's all I had, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Rose.
Good afternoon, everyone. Rebuilding trust and integrity is what we're going to do in District 5. As your council representative, I'm committed to rebuilding the trust and confidence that District 5 needs between its community and leadership. Just like other communities around the city of Orlando, District 5 has always been an area with great potential for growth and progress. Who we are and what we want must be genuinely demonstrated by the way we come together as one voice and one community focused on the needs of District 5. My first priority is to listen to the concerns of District 5 constituents in order to collectively and amicably arrive at solutions geared for the greater good. In the coming weeks, I'm asking everyone to please look out. We will be hosting a town hall where we will work together for the vision of District 5. With your support, I will place an emphasis on ensuring that affordable and market housing options are available throughout District 5. And I'm glad to see B10 because those are my neighbors, and I'm looking forward to homeownership in the community. Improving relationships with our public safety personnel, police, fire, and code enforcement. Developing business incentives, training, and resources to help minority and other businesses to successfully thrive in District 5. Keeping youth engaged and by providing a platform to hear what they would like to see in District 5, and that is specifically designed with their interests in mind. The youth of our district are our bright futures. Our community owes them the opportunity to grow in a safe environment that meets their needs. Establishing an advisory council to include but not limited to residents, clergy, school representative, resource providers, others interested in the growth, stability, and future of District 5. The Advisory Council will work closely with myself and my team to achieve the objectives and goals set forth by the Advisory Council. For nearly 45 years of struggle, growth, and progress under District 5 leadership, we have now arrived at this point. It's a new day, and I'm honored to represent you as your commissioner. We are better together. Let's keep it that way, and God bless District 5.
Thank you. Commissioner Burns?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone, council, city staff, and all of our guests. First, I'd like to also welcome our newest commissioner, our colleague, Commissioner Rose, to the City Council, and I look forward to serving alongside of you. Also, just congratulations to Emily, Mark, and Brett for being awarded the McNamara Employee of the Year. Want to thank them for their exceptional services to the residents of our great city. Also, congratulations to Ali Reeves on his retirement for over 30 years of service to our city. Thank you again for all that you all do. A couple of things on the happening in District 6, or that has happened in District 6. On Tuesday, June 11th, I had the pleasure of attending the Florida Citrus Sports National Soccer Team welcome dinner. It was a great experience, allowed us to honor and show support for the U.S. men's national soccer team versus Brazil. It was a great match. This event provided opportunity to connect with the players, coaches, owners of the teams, and just to highlight all that the city of Orlando has to offer. So we look forward to Florida Citrus Sports and bringing additional soccer games like that to our community. Also, on June 12th, it was my honor to attend the wreath ceremony commemorating the 49 lives lost during the Pulse nightclub shooting. It was a solemn occasion to remember and pay tribute as our community stood together in solidarity, offering our support to the families and friends affected by this devastating event. We will continue to honor their memory and work towards creating a more inclusive and safe environment. I'd just like to say thank you to Commissioner Sheehan. During that wreath laying ceremony, she shared some of the stories of some of those, a couple of those 49 angels, and it really just touched my heart. So thank you for sharing their stories with me. Also, on Thursday, June 13th, I attended the grand opening of the Advent Health Millennia ER, which is located on the previous Holy Land campus. I was honored to participate in this event as we welcome Advent Health to District 6. Having Advent Health in our community will provide access to quality healthcare, offering world-class emergency services to residents here in Orlando. The ER will bring over 60 high-paying healthcare jobs to our community. So Advent Health, congratulations and welcome to District 6. Also on Tuesday, June 18th, my office attended the Hankins Park 50-year celebration. In 1974, the year I was born actually, Mayor Carl Langford dedicated a park to Dr. Sylvester Hankins, who opened his first general medical practice on West Church Street, fulfilling his dream to provide quality medical care to Black Orlando residents. Thank you to the FPR team for your work and acknowledges his impact and legacy in our community. Just a few upcoming events. Our next mobile satellite office hours will be held this Wednesday, June 26th at the L. Claudia Allen Senior Center from 10 a.m. to 4. And if you would like an appointment to meet with myself and my staff, please reach out to our office, 407-246-2006. Also, you're invited to join the Metro West community on July 3rd for the Music Works event, where there will be live music by Stella Beat and the Flutie Brothers, and there will also be some fireworks. So come July 3rd, and then go July 4th over to Lake Eola. Also, save the date for the District 6 annual Back to School event. We have two events. The first one will be Saturday, July 27th at 10 a.m. at the Grand Avenue Neighborhood Center. And then the next one will be Sunday, July 28th at 1 p.m. at the Dr. James R. Smith Center. So please help us get the word out, come out and support, volunteer, come get some supplies, but also we're taking donations as well. And Mayor, on the agenda, I'd like to, I'd just like to thank all of our citizens who have decided to volunteer their time to serve on the various citizens advisory boards. Also, congratulations to all the recipients of the Mayor's Matching Grants, specifically Ebony Nutrition, Orange County Library System, Page 15 Boys to Men Mentoring, and Dueling Dragons. Thank you for all the work that you do, not just in District 6, but throughout our city. Also, I'd like to express support for item A5, the MOA for the Climate Pollution Reduction Grant proposal, which is a collaboration of several cities in Central Florida. Of the $200 million that will be applied for, $60 million will go to, if successful, $60 million will go to the Orlando Kissimmee Sanford MSA, and 7.9 to the city of Orlando. So we have our fingers crossed for those much needed resources. Also, B10, which was mentioned, I'd like to express my support and say thank you to Vodum Construction and Vernice Atkin Bradley for stepping in and helping us to complete these much needed single family homes in the Paramore area. Also, item F1, I'm excited to acknowledge and support this, and this is the award of the local government preference under the low income housing tax credit program, which is a highly competitive for the 9% housing tax credits. I would like to commend the city staff for the development of a more transparent process of awarding the city's preference. Also, congratulations to this cycle's awardee, Thornton Place and Wendover Housing Partners, who will be constructing 83 affordable senior housing units on Orange Center Boulevard in District 6. And I see the Archbishop and his team, so thank you again, Archbishop, for what you continue to do in our community, not just spiritually, but also for the whole person, because we always have those talks about addressing the whole man. So thank you for continuing to do that. Also, City of Orlando Housing Assistance Plan, just like to say thank you to Orrin and his team for this comprehensive plan that will prioritize the city's use of the $2.4 million that have been allocated under the State Housing Initiative Partnership, commonly referred to as SHIP. And these funds come from the state Sadowski Affordable Housing Funds. So again, thank you to all the city staff for your great work. And Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'd also like to welcome Commissioner Rose. We look forward to having you here and look forward to your contributions to the council and the city. And then congrats also to the McNamara Awards, pretty impressive group of people there. On the agenda, I said it earlier, I had to declare a conflict on item C9. I have a business associate involved in that group, so I will not be voting on that. And then finally, I would also like to provide my support to F1. Certainly Bishop Wiggins and his team, but also Wendover Housing Partners is a qualified and very experienced developer who has demonstrated their ability to deliver quality products. So I think that's a good partnership, and we're glad to provide our support for that. So that's all I had, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Commissioner Ortiz.
That's a good accolade right there. So that's kudos to them. So first of all, welcome to Commissioner Rose once again. Welcome to the team. I want to thank Congressman Soto. He left. I didn't get a chance to thank him when he was doing his presentation. I have to say something about Congressman Soto. The man has really stepped up to a plate, and when we go to Washington, and we get to go to Washington twice a year with the Florida League of Cities, he's always there for us. He's always receiving our team. His ears are to the ground, and as Joel Osteen says, he listens more and talk less. So, and he acts a lot more. So he's doing a great job, and I think that's to be commended. So for everybody who's listening here, and you have friends or whatnot, make sure that we keep that guy up there working for us. Anyhow, was that a vote of confidence that I just did there? I think I did. Yeah, so an endorsement. Anyhow, I'm a Republican, right? So. Congratulations to Emily Thompson, Brett Thomas, Mark Sees, and Ali Reeds on his retirement. Great job. It's representation. I always say that we have the best government in the whole nation, so, and it shows. It's a university of government, so we have our, our moments, but for the most part, it's awesome. Congratulations to all the recipients of the Mayor's Matching Grant. I know that in our district, we put that money to use immediately, so thank you so much for your participation, for getting so involved with our community. That's what this is all about. That's what government is all about. So, Black History Month, and especially Juneteenth. I had a great time. Marcia, are you around? She invited me to this. There she is. Thank you for the invitation to the Black History and Juneteenth celebration. I had a blast, and Dr. Uche, correct me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, Dr. Uche Blackstock, she did a great presentation in reference to healthcare issues in our nation, and she has a book out there that is amazing. I forget the name of the book. Marcia, you're going to have to help me on that one. But it's amazing, and she brings a reality, and some of the things she said, which is a reality. She said something that stunned me when she talked about, she graduated from Harvard, bachelor's and medical degree. Incredible. And she said if she could, she returned the degree back to Harvard and gets her money back. I was like, what? Because what they don't teach her over there, what they didn't teach her, was the fact that about 25% of the issues that are going on with health are innate in our bodies, maybe by inherited or whatnot, but the other 75 are issues that we inherit from our environment, the stress, the biases, racism, or whatever the case may be, all these things that affect us on a daily basis. And it's something to really, really think about, in terms of how we treat each other as human beings. So if you get a chance, I don't remember the name of the book, but I do remember her, Uche Blackstock. So please look her up. And here comes another endorsement. Read that book. Let's see, number 5, Orlando Center for Justice. Yesterday, we had a ceremony at the Englewood Center, Community Center, where 30 new citizens of the United States were brought in. I mean, they were swearing allegiance to our flag. And it was a very special moment because they were so proud, and many of them know more history than we do in terms of our nation, which is a shame. We should know every aspect of our history. But it was really neat to see them, how excited they were to be part of our community and to be part of our working community, to being able to go out there without having to be afraid of or looking over the shoulders in terms of being able to survive in this nation. And this is something that we're dealing with at the federal level that needs to be resolved once and for all. And this nation, without our immigrants, we would not be the nation that we are, and we need to keep that in mind. And I understand there's got to be a process. That's a fact. It's got to be a process. But we also have to be welcoming, and we also have to be humane. So with that being said, Mayor, I make a motion to accept the agenda.
Motion by Commissioner Ortiz, second by Commissioner Burns. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries. Okay, all of the things that you guys are here for just passed. So we'll take a brief 30-second recess for anybody that would like to not remain for the rest of the meeting.
Yeah. Mayor, while they're doing that, let me apologize. I skipped right over my notes, and Commissioner Rose, I've skipped right over the part. So welcome. I apologize.
Okay, Commissioner Rose, this is more typical of a Orlando City Council meeting in terms of attendance. Okay, if there's no objection, I'm going to recess the City Commission meeting and convene the CRA meeting. I can handle number 1, I think. So that's accepting CRA Advisory Board minutes from May 22nd, 2024. Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, David, you want to take over?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. So item 2 before the CRA is Amendment 4 to the amended and restated Open Space Agreement. This is the agreement by which the CRA contributes funds to the city for public space and plaza improvements that are happening within our downtown CRA area. This specific amendment is for some additional work that the city is looking to take on with CPH. CPH is putting together the design criteria package for the Lake Eola Park master plan, and ultimately what contractor that will be used to select the contractor that ultimately builds out that park. Total amount of this amendment is $42,219, and I'm happy to address any questions.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. Questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries. David, number 3.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So number 3 before the CRA is the Downtown Orlando Holiday Decor and Lighting Services Ranking and Agreement. So this past year, our current agreement for lighting services in Lake Eola Park and then throughout downtown expired. So we released an RFP and had 11 different respondents reply to be our new vendor. As many of you have seen, over recent years, we've really kind of doubled down on our investments on holidays in Lake Eola and then throughout downtown. In fact, Lake Eola Park, just this past year, was the number 4th most visited public location in the entire state during the holidays. So very excited to see the community support and people enjoying the investments that continue to be made there. This specific item approves the rankings. The number 1 ranked firm was We Hang Christmas Lights, and the proposed contract is for a 2-year initial term and then 3 one-year options to be approximately $550,000 per year, and I am happy to address any questions.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So the motion carries. David, further business?
There is none, Mayor.
Then we will stand adjourned as to the CRA. We will reconvene the city council meeting. That'll bring us to hearings, ordinances, second reading. Mr. Clerk, you ready to go? You got your reading voice on? Okay, let's start with number 1.
Ordinance 2024-21, ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, vacating, closing, and abandoning a portion of West Hollenbeck Street and Cool Avenue, generally located south of Lake Beauty Drive and west of South Orange Avenue, as described in the Orlando Regional Healthcare Plat as recorded in Plat Book 72, page 95 of the Public Records of Orange County, Florida, and comprised of 0.12 acres of land, more or less, providing for conditions of abandonment, providing for the execution of affecting documents, severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. I don't have any requests from the public to speak on this matter. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2.
Ordinance 2024-23, an ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to the Citizens Police Review Board, amending Chapter 48, Article 5, Section 48.15 of the Code of the City of Orlando, Florida, repealing Chapter 48, Article 5, Section 48.16 of the Code of the City of Orlando, Florida, repealing Chapter 8, Article 5, Section 48.17 of the Code of the City of Orlando, Florida, providing for severability, codification, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Sheehan. I have no requests from the public to speak on this matter. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And so the motion carries. Number 3.
Ordinance 2024-24, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to zoning districts and uses, amending provisions of the Land Development Code to create a new category of public benefit uses and to update the regulations in existing assembly public benefit uses, providing legislative findings and for severability, codification, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Stewart. I have no requests to speak on this either. So is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, let's move to ordinances on first read. Mr. Clerk, number 1.
Ordinance number 2024-25, an ordinance amending Chapter 5, the City Code by creating Article 4, School Speed Zones Infractions, Sections 5.23, City Code, School Speed Zone Enforcement Cameras, which authorize a school speed zone, speed enforcement program, and use of speed detection systems, providing program implementation requirements, designation of school zones, and enforcement, providing legislative findings, severability, codification, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Okay, everybody knows that safety is our top priority. We don't get high marks on pedestrian safety in our region. I don't think it's mostly the City of Orlando. But nevertheless, we are working toward Vision Zero goal by 2040, which means eliminating all all pedestrian accidents by 2040. So that includes children and pedestrians walking and biking to and from school. the legislature passed some legislation authorizing us to have school zone automatic speed enforcement programs. I'm going to ask Chrissy Martin to give us an update on this particular proposal. Chrissy?
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. On behalf of Tanya Wilder and the Transportation Department here at the city, I just wanted to kind of give you a quick overview of the School Zone Automated Speed Enforcement Program. On July 1st, 2023, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed into legislation HB 657, permitting local government agencies to implement school zone speed detection systems. In response, local municipalities have prioritized initiatives to ensure the safety of commuting school-age children and pedestrians with school zone automated speed enforcement programs. Speed safety cameras, or photo radar, use speed measurement devices to detect vehicles that are exceeding the speed limit, and they have been shown to reduce roadway fatalities and injuries by 20 to 37%. Local governments have found that when used appropriately as part of a broader strategy, speed safety cameras can reduce traffic fatalities, especially around schools and construction zones. So what does this mean to the city of Orlando? I have a little, let's see. Okay. So right now, school zone is a portion of a street or highway located within a school area that includes an established school speed limit posted with signs and flashing beacons. Legislation only allows speed safety cameras to be placed within what they have designated within the statute as a school zone. An RFP selecting a vendor to implement the systems is expected to be released at the end of the summer, and final ranking is expected in fall of 2024 this year. In phase one, the first quarter of 2025, the cameras will clear permitting and the system is up within 15 days per statute. The program will initiate a public awareness campaign with warnings only, no tickets. And for 30 days, that is also per statute. The system goes live after 30-day warning period, and then you will have live tickets. Our Transportation Department will conduct additional feasibility and engineering studies of public schools potentially eligible for school zones, and this study will allow for additional school zones to be established in the city of Orlando. So that will be phase two, and we will come back to council with new school zones per statute within the year and have them added to the automated speed enforcement program. Additionally, private and charter schools will be contacted to inform them of the process to invest and establish a school zone and qualify for the school zone automated speed enforcement program. And the districts up here are on the table, and the schools currently that are within the city of Orlando per district, along with the school zones with the school zone, the schools with a school zone, and the schools without a school zone. All right. The ordinance overview in the first read is amends the Chapter 5 City Code by creating Article 4 School Speed Zone Infractions. It creates Section 5.23 City Code School Speed Zone Enforcement Cameras, authorizing 1, a school speed zone speed enforcement program, the use of the speed detection systems, providing a program implementation requirements, and designation of school zones and enforcement. It provides legislative findings, severability, codification, correction of Scrivener's errors, and an effective date. And in support of the city's Vision Zero goal, the City of Orlando will launch a school zone automated speed enforcement program with your authorization using school zone speed detection systems as authorized through Florida Statutes Chapter 316, Section 1896. And that's the brief overview of the program, but I'm open to any questions.
Okay, questions? Let's start with questions. So just about everybody's in the queue. Commissioner Stewart, then Sheehan, Ortiz, Burns. Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me say I appreciate how much the work that y'all have done. I think it means a lot. It's going lots of safety. One of the frustrations I have is that the news media has other cities appears to be way ahead of us. I think part of the issue that we have, we're a little bit more cautious and doing a little bit more right, if you want to call it that. The idea is that we want to make sure we don't get the cart ahead of the horse, and I appreciate the work that you've done to accomplish that task. I'm more interested, as you mentioned, in phase two, because I think there's a lot of other schools that need to have school zones, and we probably have not done a good job analyzing those over the course of the past decade or so. And now it's a chance for us to do that, and I appreciate y'all's work on that. I think the education portion of that and how you roll it out is going to be very important. And I think the chance to test these. We talked also, I think before, about the fact that we want one of the vendors, or the selected vendor, to be able to have a mobile unit as well. But you mentioned something earlier that I'm a little bit, had not thought of, but the idea around construction zones. So is our intent in the long term to be able to bring out a mobile unit around construction zones and do it, I guess, essentially in a safer way? Because that's the secondary issue. One is around children, and the second is the accidents that happen around construction zones.
So specifically within this statute, we're not addressing that, but that is definitely something that we are going to be continuing to look at. You know, they're building blocks, and this is one avenue, you know, that builds on that toolbox of safety measures that we can put in. But, you know, construction zones are obviously something that we need to take very seriously, but not within that statute.
Yeah, I think I did not realize that was part of the original agreement. I apologize for missing that. But anyway, I think it's going to lead to safer environments for our kids, and I look forward to seeing that being rolled out. So thank you very much for your work and your entire staff. Thank you all.
Commissioner Sheehan.
Thank you, Mayor. And when OPD was lacking the crossing guards in the first few days of school, I was out at Crystal Lake and Lake Arnold because parents actually were freaking out because their children were having to cross a very busy road. And I just went out there and I said, you know what, somebody needs to go out there. And they said, well, you're not trained. And I'm like, I don't care if I'm not trained. Somebody needs to go out there and get those kids safe. So they sent a motorcycle officer with me for a little while because I wasn't trained and they were freaking out that I might cause some problem. And it was crazy how many traffic citations on Crystal Lake, that officer who was with me for 30 minutes, he could not write the tickets fast enough. So what I'm saying is there is a huge problem, y'all. And I was just trying to be a crossing guard. I can't imagine what these crossing guards are dealing with. Now, this particular intersection is about 2.5 blocks away from Lake Como School, where the school zone is. So I'm glad that you all are going to be adding to the school zone, because the school zones are really close up next to the school, but these kids are walking up to 2 miles over these really heavily traveled roads. So I think that's where we need to concentrate our efforts. And I know Commissioner Burns, there were some areas I had in Millennia where children were crossing Vineland without any kind of signal. It was terrible, and I hope that Orange County Public Schools will work with us. They don't always have a good track record of this, but because they look at the crossings as our responsibility, whether we're putting OPD officers out there or crossing guards or whatever. But if we need to work with them to expand those crossings, we need to do that, because I've seen personally how dangerous it is. And we've got little bitty kids on bicycles trying to get across these busy roads, and we need to do something because people are not paying attention, even when they're signalized, even when they're crossing, a very busy road. People just aren't paying any attention. So I fully support this. I think it's very important, but I also think we need to look to expand those, even if we have to expand the school zones all the way out to the 2 miles within every school. I think we need to do that because it's a huge problem for these kids that are crossing busy roads. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. You know what? There's no sadder scene than having a police officer or a firefighter having to come up to an incident of somebody hitting a kid. This firefighter or paramedic or police officer having to lift that body. And that's just to give people sort of kind of a physical or on something like this. So for the benefit of the public, I got 3 questions for you. Do we have some stats on about how many accidents do we average a year around the school zones?
What we've been doing within the statute we've had to compile based on what the statute is requiring. We've had to kind of look at all of the schools, where the low-hanging fruit is, what the stats are, but that right now we're still in process of compiling. So in tandem with the implementation of this first phase of cameras, then we will be doing some feasibility studies with engineering to find out kind of where those other ones lie. Because school zones are, just one thing that is a way to keep our communities safe. I had written down, school zones are the method this statute is stipulated to implement, but school zone automated speed enforcement programs, we have other things such as eligible safe routes to school, area designation, school crossings, school speed limits, school crossing guards, flashing lights, signage, and just to name a few. So there are other measures besides this. This one statute does this and allows us these cameras, but we're trying to look at it holistically and how we can do that.
I'm not asking for the benefit, because I know that this
Sure.
happened. I work in law enforcement, so I know that these things happen. And
Right.
God knows that when we first implemented the red light cameras, I wish we had already, at the same time, we would have implemented the red light cameras for school zones, because we really needed them. So what's the investment in the part of the city?
The investment in terms
In
of
our side,
what this is
money-wise,
going to...
yeah. So to clarify that for our people, those who are listening, those who are out there.
So our investment right now, we think that the school speed zone cameras will bring between $1 million to $1.5 million, and then we can reinvest that into our, Vision Zero program, which will enhance these school zone safety cameras.
But our initial investment, what is
in
it?
terms of our actual investment, we right now will not be having to invest because that will
Exactly.
be...
That's what I wanted people to hear, that
There
we're
is
not
zero
investing
investment
anything
from the
that's gonna
city.
happen. Exactly. So, and the last question is, how is the alleged revenue, because a lot of people are asking, so what you guys are doing with the money and whatnot, how is this going to be used?
And so that goes to what I originally had said, is
Exactly.
that's between, and it's a guesstimate right now until we actually do the implementation of the program, but that guesstimate is between $1 to $1.5 million, and that's based on the $60 per ticket infraction, about 27,000 infractions, 180 days of school, the time frame that we're going to be putting it in, and that goes back to it into our Vision Zero program. And we have seen strong results with that program, both with intersection murals, crosswalks, flashing beacons, everything that you already know about.
I'm excited about this, and I want to thank you and the whole team for what you guys are doing. You guys are awesome, and I know that safety, when it comes to transportation, is number one mission here, and so is Metro Plan Orlando, who's doing a great job also with this. So thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Burns.
Thank you, Mayor. Chrissy, thank you for your presentation. I had a couple of questions. First, I wanted to say thank you for the Phase 2, because when I originally got the briefing, I was kind of shocked to see how many schools didn't have school zones, and that was a concern of mine. So I appreciate the Phase 2 where we will be looking at that. Because if you just look at District 6, there are 10 schools forward zones, so there are 6 schools that don't have zones. So I'm excited to hear that. And well, my question is, what does that process look like to get a school zone approved, if you would, and who's involved?
Sure. Well, we'll contract out if we need to, but right now we're using our in-house engineering department within transportation. Maria's kind of heading that up. And what we're going to do is a feasibility study on these additional schools that do not have school zones, see what their safety initiatives are. And one of those documents that I sent to you had done like a preliminary evaluation of what exactly is at this school that we're looking at that isn't a designated school zone per the statute. And so we're kind of going through, we're going to do that evaluation. It'll be going on at the time frame when we're doing the RFP, so we're not going to lose any time on it. And then from there, we'll see if we need to gather any more information and bring another firm in.
And thank you. You made mention of the charter schools. So do these numbers, as far as the number of schools, include charter schools, or they're not included in these numbers?
So the numbers that you see in that table are simply the public schools, plus there is one private school that actually already, on their own dime, chose to do a school zone for their school. But they're not included in this one table. That will...
And so charter schools will need to carry the cost burden to get a school zone set up?
Right now, that's how we feel it should be. But what we will do at the city, and the commitment that our director has made, is that we will be reaching out to those schools and say, listen, here's the program. We're willing to work with you. We'll show you kind of how we're going through our process of feasibility to create those school zones, or see what other safety measures could be implemented within that area. So we'll be working with them. educating them on this statute and seeing how we can move them forward if they want.
So is there a cost to establishing a school zone?
There is a significant cost, with infrastructure and especially with everything that's increased over the
And
years.
does OCPS participate in that cost?
We would like them to, probably.
They don't? They don't, okay. All right, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Commissioner Rose?
Safety is a top priority, as we discussed. I'm supportive of the program. Educational sessions are going to be really important, as we discussed. The community is always, I'd say District 5 community residents always complaining about being stereotyped or the negative impact this could have on the economic side. So we've got to have that happy medium balance and educate that this is a safety mechanism to protect our children in the school zone. So I look forward to connecting and working on workshops and educational sessions for the community. Thank you.
Our department looks forward to being at your town hall and educating them as well. Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Okay, let's try it again. Yeah, I'll give it to everybody. Okay, motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Ortiz. No, we didn't.
We did have a motion, but it's all.
No, we didn't. We went right into questions. Okay, I don't have any requests for public participation. So is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Chrissy. Okay, number 2, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2024-26, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending and restating the land development regulations of the Amherst Oaks Plan Development relating to certain land generally located west of I-4, north of Colonial Drive, east of Peachtree Road, and south of Lake Conrad, and comprised of approximately 1.6 acres of land, providing for amendment of the city's official zoning map, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's errors, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Okay, Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to just share a couple of things if I can. First, I want to say thank you to Roger and Lisa. They're here. Are they still here? Somewhere there they are, over there. Way back in the back. Thank you for your response. I appreciate that. It took a little while to get it. One of the things that was important to me is to have some historical connotation to transportation of other emergency rooms and see that. I appreciate that. It gives us a good baseline for that. We've talked briefly, I've talked with our our planning staff, and one of the things I noticed this past weekend driving around was there really is no direction to people coming from the west to get into that property have to come down Peachtree Lane. Looked at a couple of things. I think I'd like to kind of have some continued discussions with our staff as well as the developers, see if there's some FDOT approved signage that needs to go there. We can look at that, I think, prior to the next meeting, Mayor, and if we have to make an amendment, we can do that. But I'm concerned that both Google and Waze send people in different and unique ways, and there is a faster way to get there. So I want to try and figure out if that's the case. If we can't pull it off, the good news is that we have an evaluation coming post-opening to be able to look at, which case we could then make some changes at that time. But I just want to make sure that we're doing all we can in terms of making sure that people can get there. I shared earlier today, my concern is not with the guy who's got a child who's got a cold or an infection. My concern is that the emails that I've received is, what if my child has a broken arm and needs to get there? And my concern has been that getting there now, with the way the instructions are provided with a Colonial Drive address, which is completely appropriate, sends them in a weird and a funky way. And I don't know that we will have parents under stress will abide by those laws. So I want to make sure we provide as much signage as we possibly can, and whatever the state will allow us to do. So with that, Mayor, I'm going to support this, but I'd like to have some continued discussions before it comes back to us in July to see if there's something we can do and we get a chance to to test out what FDOT will allow us to do over there. So with that.
Okay, I understand we do have a couple cards for information only. Does anybody know information? Okay. All right, further discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. And number 3.
Ordinance number 2024-27, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the land development regulations of the Weehawhooty Land Development Zoning District.
Weehawhooty. That's the most fun thing you can say in this council meeting.
Regulations of the Weehawhooty Plan Development Zoning District, such district being comprised of approximately 1,262 acres and generally located north of Moss Park Road, south of State Road 528, and east of State Road 417, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. I don't have any requests for public participation. Discussion, Commissioner Stewart, I'm assuming that's from the last time. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries. That concludes the scheduled business for today. Ed, can you get us ready for general appearance?